another episode of SyncRiffs. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're really excited to have a old friend and dear mate of mine, Troy MacCubbin from LA Tracks. How's it going, Troy?
Good, mate. Good. Good to be here. How's it going?
It's going good, man. We're here, we're living the life, and we're gonna have a great conversation. Troy has a company that works in the trailer and composition sound design space, and I'll just rattle off his impressive body work. Sound design in John Wick 4, some trailers in Missing, Fast and Furious 7, Taken 3, and that's just the short list. And I'll let Troy, once I turn the mic to him, to expound and break down some of his other work. But just to set the stage, I was Troy's sync agent in around 2004, 2005, and he was an indie solo artist. He had a track that we placed in an ABC show called Men and Trees. And yeah, God, time flies by, right?
God, man, I've forgotten about that. I forgot about what song it was. I remember the placement was like, oh, that's right. Hold on, what song was it? Was it Yesterday's?
Yesterday's acoustic. I remember the scene. It was like a bar scene.
Wow.
And the acoustic driven track and the energy. And I would always tell you, Troy, I'm like, David Gray, your music.
Yeah, you know, that still sits with me here. It's like, I'll be recording and something and I'm like, I wonder if Charles thinks I sound like David Gray here. Not a bad place to be in, man. I'll take that compliment.
Yes. No. And so fast forward from there, Troy went on and was the guitarist and performed worldwide with the band Tattoo, who was on Interscope at the time.
That's right.
And wow. And then Wilson Phillips, Kelly Clarkson, other artists that you gigged with.
Enrique Iglesias for a little bit. Natalie Imbruglia. She was fun. And God, I can't. There's some others and I can't think of them. How bad is that? But yeah, there was a little sideman thing going on there for a little bit, and I quickly realized that was not the place I was going to become successfully wealthy or have a long-term career. There's all these young bucks coming up behind you who want to do it way cheaper and easier than you want to do it. So,
but hey, you lived the life. You were rock and rolling, and then yeah, and then so Allied Tracks, that was the next incarnation. When did you form it? And tell us more about the space you occupy there.
Oh man, talk about looking back now. It was just all meant to be because I was dating this lovely girl at the time, Ramona, and one of her best friends just happened to be dating this guy who was a trailer editor. And I didn't know this at the time. And we went camping, we went out on a trip together. I was like, let's go all camping, just the two couples. And I'm hanging out with this guy, and we hit it off. He's a great guy, and his name's Chester. And we're walking along maybe 3 days into our hikes and adventures. And, he obviously knows I'm a musician, and I was touring with Tattoo at the time. So I'm touring all over the world and coming back to America, blah, blah, blah. And he turns to me, he said, oh, man, you should do some music for me. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you do? And he's like, I'm a trailer editor, and we're always looking for music. And he was like, I wanted to start a company with this other musician, but he was high all the time, so I didn't want to do it with him. And, you seem a pretty level-headed kind of guy. We should start it. So we started Alloy Tracks together. And he totally walked me into the whole industry, gave me, because he was editing trailers with his company. Okay. And his plan was, we'll start this music company and we'll just use everything in the trailers.
Sure.
And basically, long story short, we were together for like maybe a year or so. And then he was like, man, I'm too busy with my company. Take over Alloy Tracks and go for it. And he kind of walked me through it. And I got introduced to everyone in the industry. And, it was a great way to to get going. But massive learning curve too. I had no clue what I was doing, still don't. But yeah, man, it was great. It got me going, and then I realized, oh my god, I can make a living off this, and
Sure.
there's so much potential, and so
Yeah.
I got my feet wet and got in, and then it hit the ground running. I was like, wow, let's do this. So when I wasn't traveling or touring, I'd come back and do trailer stuff. I was working on trailers, music all the time, and sound design, and then I'd leave, and so it was like the best of both worlds. I was getting the live gigging rock and roll thing around the world, and then come back home and have like a job where I can actually make more money. So it was really great. So that was
Yeah.
2007. We started the company, and I was lucky, man. Right place,
No,
right.
no, and that's brilliant, Troy, because as you were recounting that story, you occupy horror, action, comedy, you name the genre. I mean, Saw, you did a lot of the trailers for
Did a lot of Source, a lot of that Source stuff. Halloween. God, I remember we worked on Rambo, all that stuff, because at the time Chester, he's and is still probably one of the better trailer editors in town. So he was cutting all the big stuff, you know.
I see.
So
Yeah.
I'd send him stuff and be like, no, you need to do this, fix this, do that, and totally back and forth, and and then I get a hit. Oh, I can use this. This is great. Let's use it. And
Yeah.
and it wasn't a slam dunk. It wasn't like everything I did, he just automatically used it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's got to be good, because he can't look like an idiot by placing my crappy music in his trailer. It
Yeah.
doesn't work like that. He's got
Yeah.
to deliver to his client, so it's whatever is the best for the job's going to get the job. So I had to work at it, and a lot of stuff I didn't get. So it was a learning curve, that's for sure.
Sure. Yeah. And actually, that's a great segue, Troy, because I know the term, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, within sort of pre-pandemic, when songs were sort of trailerized or remixed to talk about that, if you would.
Yeah, it was funny, man. It come in, trying to think what trailers it started to come in. It was a while back now, but what they were doing became very popular there for a while, to take a popular song and remake it with your own version of it, right? So, and a lot of the times it was a beautiful female singer, and they'd have this really popular song, and they do this dark spin on it with lots of haunting stuff behind it, and the big trailer drums, and then this haunting, lovely voice, and you're like, oh my god, it's that song. I never knew it was that song. So they did that for a few years. That was a run for a while. And then something in the trailer world just happened where they're like, why don't we just use the song,
Yeah.
and let's mess up the real song. So they were grabbing, AC/DC or Rolling Stones or whatever it was, and we were told, you got to mess with the song. We're actually going to use the real song. None of this cover stuff. We're using the real stuff now.
Sure.
So yeah, and that's still kind of the thing now. I see inklings of it changing, but it's still like, they'll get an Eminem song, and we usually get hopefully get the stems, where you got programs now that can pull the stems from the songs, and we'll just grab the vocal and then create all this trailer music behind it.
Yes.
Take it in a totally different direction, but you got this vocal in there that's obviously the song, and then they use that. So yeah,
Brilliant.
it's crazy.
No, and congrats. And you'll have to remind me of the track, but I know, and it was a huge accolade, if you will, and congrats on it, is correct. You worked with the team, and it was a trailer, or was it the teaser for Stranger Things? If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, that was a really good one for us last year. We did the Journey song Separate Ways. We had a company in LA that we work with a lot, Trailer Park, all the guys over there, and they sent us an email like, hey guys, we're working on Stranger Things. We're all Stranger Things fans, and they said with the whole season 4, is it season? Oh, yeah, season 4 was all about the kids going their separate ways. So obviously the song "Separate Ways" by Journey come up,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like, great, awesome. And my great composer Bryce, who's been with us for years now, he's a badass. He's a very talented composer guy. He took it and he worked on it, and we went back and forth with Trailer Park for probably, I don't know, it felt like 3 or 4 months working on that,
Mm-hmm.
and we locked it. We got the job, which was huge and fantastic, and you
Yeah.
know, it's always great to get a show that you really love. And Stranger Things was so big, and the hype and everything, so
Mm-hmm.
that was really cool. And then, and then I get a phone call. I'm in Nashville. I'm just in my studio working. I get a phone call, and you know what it's like. You get phone calls now, and you look at the number, and you're like, "Oh, scam or not?" You're like, "All right, I'll play the casino." And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, hey, going and pick it up. And I get this guy, and he starts talking really quickly about Stranger Things, and I'm thinking, "Oh shit, it's one of the Netflix executives calling me."
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And we're talking 15 minutes, and he's, "Oh, you guys did an amazing job. How did you get the stems and blah?" And I'm explaining that to him. He's like, "Oh, wow, it just sounds so great." And he's like, "I normally don't sign off on these things because I don't agree with it, but this is so fantastic, blah, blah, blah."
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "All right, well, we're about to hang up." And I'm thinking, I better get this executive's name so I know who I'm talking with, because I completely missed it. I'm like, "Sorry, mate. Sorry, who did you say you're with now?"
Uh-huh.
He's like, "It's Steve Perry from Journey. I sang the song." I'm like, "Ah, oh, Steve, Steve, ah, man, legend Steve." So yeah, that was cool. It was a really cool moment. It was like, wow, talking to Steve Perry. So
That's
for the next, I felt like for the next 5 months, I was talking to Steve Perry nearly every day because he was just bugging
oh.
me. Like, what else can we do? Let's do something else together. And a sweetheart of a guy. Just, I love him to
Amazing.
death. He's such a great human being, and oh, what an immense talent.
That's
So
brilliant, mate. So I'll put it out of the ethos because I know, we come from that, and I think it was when U2 was playing at the Rose Bowl, and we were
yes,
texting each other. So on that list of working with Steve Perry, you're like Bono in a trailer. One of
no, yeah, it's a shame that more lead singers from all these bands that we make their songs sound so differently and so great with the trailer and the picture, you know. But Steve was funny because he really just got like a bee in his bonnet about it. He was like, "All right, what else can we do? You know what? Let's do something else." And he wanted to write. He said to me, "He's like, man, I've written all these lyrics for the Stranger Things theme."
uh-huh.
And I'm thinking, yeah, that's like trying to write lyrics for Star Wars. You just don't do it, right? So I was like, well, maybe we should do another version or something. And he was like, let's do an extended version. We'll extend it. I'm like, great, let's do it. So we did that.
Wow.
And then I sent it to Matt through Steve's connections. We got the music supervisor, Nora,
Yep.
from Stranger Things.
Yep.
And, I reached out to her and said, hey, let me send you this track because we just did this extended version.
Uh,
And sent it to her, and nothing for a couple of days, and
uh,
then I get a text, "Hey, I'm here with the Duffer Brothers on set. We're listening to your track. We love it. We're going to use it in the show."
ah.
Bam! It's
Oh,
like, wow.
amazing.
So that was super cool. And then they used two of our tracks on the soundtrack on the actual album release for the season 4. So
Um,
just out of that one thing, how it spiraled into Steve, and then everything
yeah.
else. It was pretty crazy, pretty good ride on that one.
No, amazing. And yeah, Nora's the best, to your point, and that's
Yeah, of course you would know Nora. Yeah,
yeah, and that's a key distinction. Like you said, she supers the show itself, and then for the trailer, it's going through a trailer house. It's separate, and that's one good question because that always pops up. We get emails about Troy. Is by the time Trailer Park, whoever calls you, are you competing with anyone, or the gig is yours, and how's that kind of play out?
Oh, I wish we didn't have to compete with anyone. No, I would say majority of the times, yeah, man, we're competing with a lot of talented people, and it's great and it sucks at the same time. I think for
Hmm.
the Stranger Things, obviously we're competing with other probably music companies,
Hmm.
but I think Trailer Park had that trailer pretty locked in.
Got
So
it.
at least we were in the ballpark with those guys, which is great.
Right.
And of course, they guided us through what they wanted, and we were able to deliver. And it was a great team effort.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that. But
Yeah.
for example, we just worked on the Christopher Nolan's new movie Oppenheimer.
Oh,
That's
brilliant.
coming out at the I think Christmas this year, and man, like every man and his dog was trying to get this spot, right?
Yeah.
So many music companies and trailer companies are all going for it. There was a lot fighting
Mm.
for this. And Christopher Nolan, um, he changes his mind. He's all over
Mm.
the map. They don't know what he wants.
Hmm.
Obviously he knows what he wants, but he's very careful of how he shares about it.
Right.
It's a process,
Sure.
so you're going down this direction, and then all of a sudden, no, 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 we want it over here. And you're like, but what? So
Yeah.
we worked on that for like 6 months, back and forth, and,
Mm-hmm.
delivering new material and just throwing all this stuff at it. And we didn't
Mm.
get it, we didn't get it, which sucks. Um, but, that's the game. That's the game we're in. Sometimes it doesn't
Hmm.
work. We may get some sound. We got some sound design in the trailer, which was great that I did.
Hmm.
Um, but for the big tracks, we didn't nail it. They went in another direction, and it's really everything's got to line up. The trailer's got to line up. It's got to line up with the music, and
Hmm.
then it's got to go through all these executives and these people and these people, and it's like I'm surprised anything gets locked in because
Yeah.
it's so hard. So yeah, so that was a bummer. But
Hmm.
we got other ones that we worked on for a while. So
Absolutely. No, and it's to your point, and we see that, since I'm a sync agent, I'm pitching pre-existing songs. So your
right.
role is the flip side to, what I'm doing on the day-to-day. And then, like you said, just for clarification, with trailers, the creative direction, is it the showrunner or the executive producer of the film that also has a say in the direction of the trailer, or it just depends on?
As far as I know, and I would say, um, being the music company on a lot of these big trailers, we're like always the last ones to know. We're at the bottom of the totem pole when defining out information.
Sure.
Um, but I would say if it's a movie with Universal, NBC Universal, or Warner Brothers or Lionsgate, it's all these big executives that are working on these things, and it's from them, and it comes down through the trailer house, and
Hmm.
then it's the producers at the trailer house and the editors, and then we're the music guys down here, which is kind of ridiculous because the music is so important. It
Right.
should be further up, but that's just the way it works. I
Hmm.
think that's how it works. After all these years, I'm still. It seems like it changes every project. You just never know. With Christopher Nolan, he had a lot of the say. Where a lot of other movies,
Mm-hmm.
they're not worried about the advertising as much. As long as they do a great job, they leave it in those hands. So I think
Yeah.
it depends on each project. Uh,
Sure.
you're
Sure.
kind of playing it. You're always playing it like it's a new project. You don't know what's going to happen. You're just trying to do the best job you can and deliver the best
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, Troy, just because that came into my mind has there ever been cases when, if a certain director loved, do you repeat trailers or you worked with that same director just by happenstance? Or if the team knows, oh my God, Iowa Tracks always kills it and no one loves the end product. So let's go back to Troy.
Oh yeah, for sure. We get that. Yeah,
Hmm.
you do a good job, and that team that nailed that, they want to repeat that.
Yeah.
It's like anything. If it ain't broke, why fix it? So we get that a lot, and we
Cool.
get a lot of they all everyone repeats themselves. We're trying to come up something a little new,
Mm-hmm.
not too much because we don't want to freak everyone out.
Sure.
So a lot of times they'll send us, oh, we're working on this new movie, and they'll give us an example of a trailer that was in this kind of genre maybe 2 years ago or something. Oh, we kind of love it like this, kind of copy this vibe, but with something new. So
Yeah.
it's tricky, man. It's a
No.
tough business, and this whole world of trailers, I feel like in the last, since I've been in it anyway, because
Mm-hmm.
the music industry has taken such a dump in so many ways.
Right.
A lot of big people have come into this trailer world, and so much talent. I
Mm.
mean, it's
Mm.
scary how much talent we're up against. We're a mum and pop shop. We're a
Sure.
little company, and we're going against companies that go to Abbey Road Studio every week.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
like, you better have your shit together.
Yeah, no.
you know,
And correct, if I'm not mistaken, like Trent Reznor doing score of trailers
oh,
and composing.
yeah,
BT, Brian Tranzo, the electronic artist.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
BT. Yeah, all
Yeah.
those. Yeah, there's so much talent.
Hmm.
But I kind of think that with my company anyway, Alloy Tracks, we've found a niche.
Yes.
We're not the crazy expensive place. We deliver fast, high quality music and sound
Right.
design, but we're not lower budget kind of stuff either. We
Yeah.
can hold our own, and we do great work. And our biggest thing, I think, is being personable. A lot of these companies have 40 composers and all these people, and you gotta, I try and keep it very personable, and you know I'm on it, I'm delivering the
Yeah.
track, we're talking back and forth.
No,
It's a team. We want it to be a team kind of effort.
no, Troy. And yeah, and that takes me back, working with you as an independent artist. And like you said, music, we're selling emotion. And so to be able to get on a call and speak the same language with, if you're talking with the showrunner or the music supervisor, you got to, like you said, have your ducks in a row. They don't want drama, deliver, and they don't want to hear it if something blows up or something. Oh, we forgot, like, especially with what I do, pitching, one
Yeah,
clearance, there's no samples, no covers that we didn't know about or what have you.
yeah. And I think you said something in one of the podcasts I watched you and Chase on recently, that
Sure.
like, how do you get songs placed? What do you got to do? How do you write that song? And you nailed it. It's like, it's just got to have emotion. It's got to be real. Like, you can't be pissing in the people's pocket, right? You can't fake it. They've got to
Right.
feel it. And that resonated with me when you said that, because I was thinking, I want to write more stuff for Sync and stuff myself, you know, but
Mhm.
it's still got to be good. It doesn't matter what seat you're sitting in. I can't deliver crap. It's still crap. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It's got to be good. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's the same in the trailer world. You want to deliver emotion, and the biggest thing, I think, with what you do and I do, is being able to talk to these music supervisors and editors,
Mhm.
because they talk in different terms to musicians, and it's
Yeah.
very different how they portray what they want, and then to the musician. So you got to play that game too. So it's
Mhm.
it's it's like speaking different languages too sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah. No, well said. And I think, what you've crafted over the years, it's your sonic brand. What if people think of Allo Tracks? Oh, look at the body of your work. There's no surprises there. There's the through line, of the work you do. And I think, yeah, you've built a brand empire there, so to speak. And same with Blue Buddha. Oh, indie, cool, edgy, Coachella friendly. So yeah, and that's I think that's a testimony, Troy, to your musical taste as well, and you having been an indie artist and your proficiency in electric guitar and all that. So no, hats off. That's so what's sort of in the future, more, would you say the majority of it's local opportunities? What about outside of the U.S. for
We
score? Yeah.
Yeah, no, we work with like, companies in England and overseas a bit, and it's becoming more, especially with things like Stranger Things and stuff like that. That people in the industry find out who's behind that, and they want to reach out and be a
Nice.
part of that. So that's great. So we're working with a lot more companies overseas. Even China and Japan, Asia companies are getting involved. Well, we started working with Imagine Entertainment with Ron Howard's company,
Oh,
which has been huge. So we're sort of slowly proving ourselves. We've got our first job with them, and it's a documentary kind of thing that we're working with them. So that's been really great.
wow.
So
Congrats.
that, and then we've got 3 more projects with them. So I'm hoping that goes. Ronnie is going to call me and be like, "Hey, Troy, I got my new Oscar movie coming up. I want you to do the whole score for the whole movie." He'll call me. He'll call. It won't be long.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny you say that because if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if you've seen it, but he did a documentary where it's the Edge, Bono, and Letterman in Ireland.
You know what? I just watched that.
Oh,
What
yeah.
really sucks about that whole event? So the my good friend, a lady that I met in the company, who's become a good friend, her and her husband, and we've become close and stuff. And we were at dinner at her place the night after that kind of all event happened.
Mhm.
And she said, "Oh, guess who I met last night?" And I'm like, "Who?" She's like, "I went to a screening with Bono and The Edge." And I was driving there, and my husband, Tim, was supposed to come with me, but last minute he couldn't make it. And I couldn't think of anyone to call to take that extra ticket.
What?
Ah! Oh my God. I was like, no! Why? So, so she went to I guess to the screening or something, or the party they had, and there was Bono and The Edge was there, and I think Letterman and all that, and
Mhm.
Ron, and the whole gang, and it would have been amazing. So I missed it by
Yeah.
this much. It would have
Maybe
been a
they'll
dream, man. Ah,
right. Well, maybe there'll be a part 2 documentary. Fingers crossed.
I told her every time the husband can't go, I'm your new hubby for the night. That's it. It's got to be me.
Right. No. Amazing. Amazing. But
So
no,
yeah.
man, you've really and one question I always like to, ask our guests is, what advice would you give to, composers who are looking to get in the space? Because you've been in it for a minute. So you kind of, where's the industry now as far as competition goes and those types of things. But one thing you would tell folks looking to break into your space.
Wow. Good question. Really good question. It's always so tough because it's always changing so much. But I think just have your ducks in a row. Um, Sometimes you don't have to be the best and the greatest. We get so many composers reaching out to us to join the team or just to be on the list for projects and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the biggest thing I see, and I'm sure this happens with a lot of other people in the same boat, is that time is everything. An organization and how you present yourself in an email is huge. That's really important. You want to make it, and we try and do this with the trailer editors and the music supervisors. I look at it as these people are extremely busy. You want to make their job so stupid easy that they
Mm-hmm.
grab your track and plop, the job's done. That's what you want to go for. You want to make it so easy for them. So you want to get as close to the finished product as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're reaching out to someone like myself, or I imagine same with you, Charles, you just want to keep it really professional, short, sweet. Let your music do the talking. Let them know you're as keen as hell to deliver, and you're ready to go to the bat for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's a big one because I get so many composers, and
Yeah.
they send me all these links. It's like I ain't got time. I need you to
Yeah.
prove yourself on the job. So I just need to know what you've done, if you're
Yes.
capable, and if you're of sound mind and you're not some lunatic. That's pretty much where I'm at. But if you send me
Yeah.
a ton of links,
Right.
who's got time to sit and go through all that? I'm
Yeah.
dealing with 10 things at a time, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you're the same. It's like you just
Hmm.
got to keep it stupid simple and do whatever it takes when it comes to tagging your songs.
Hmm.
Um, Everything. Just make it so simple for them that they
Hmm.
cannot deny your work and
Yeah.
they want to use it. It's like, oh, we're going to use John over here because I
Right.
don't even know if he's alive. He's probably AI and he's just delivering all these amazing tracks. I
Uh-huh.
sent him a check, but he's stupid simple and it's so
Yeah.
easy. Any drama, any problems, it's just,
Yeah.
next. And
Exactly.
I used to hear that all the time myself. It's like,
Hmm.
you just want to be drama free. No, like, the publishing. Who's on this? No,
Right.
no, I got no time for that, man. We just want to get paid. You know how hard it is to get paid in this industry? It's really hard. So
Yeah.
just make it easy. I think that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, everyone at this level, you got to
Hmm.
know your shit. You can't be delivering crap. You got to
Right.
deliver good work,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be the best. Just
Mhm.
have heart and be professional and be a good person. That's
Yeah.
that one too. That goes a long way. So you can't help but help a good person, right?
Exactly. Amazing. No, I think
That's my rant.
no, you hit it on the nose, and thank you so much, Troy. I mean, it was, and that's just peeling the layers back. I mean, I know these chats can go on, but no, thank you so much. And it's like you said, Troy. It's we're in the business of solving problems, and we're trying to fill a scene with an emotion, whether it's a custom piece. Troy has to create that, and like you said, they'll keep coming back to you if you're solving their problem and it's easy peasy.
Yeah, for sure. And I would ask you, what
Mm-hmm.
advice would you give to the song? If you're a songwriter that you have songs. I remember you telling me back in the day, and I don't know if this still stands, and you may go, no, I didn't say that. But I'd get so anal about the recordings. Oh, it's got to be done in the best studio, or I got to do this, and you were like, dude, just get me a decent recording because it's so far in the back. They just want a great track. Just it's all about the vibe. Don't worry about recording it in the best studio. Is that still stand? Where are you at with that?
Yeah, I mean, technology has come so far along where you can, do a decent mix and master. And, for television, at least, obviously to your point, for film, it's got to be ratcheted up, with
Yeah,
the mix.
yeah,
But with TV, there were cases. It's funny because there was an artist that we had pitched, and I think he did it lo-fi, and I could hear it but that's what they were looking for.
right.
It was background, vocal, instrumental background in a bar scene. But yeah, I mean, I think now with the advances of tech, it's that's become a level playing field. And then to your point, what would my advice be? Kind of what I echoed in that previous podcast was do your homework. If someone's approaching you, Troy, and you know what Aletrax is all about. If you're gonna say, "Hey, I want to compose for you, Troy," then send Troy your best work. And if he's like, "Oh my God, you're solving problems, and you could be part of the team," I think that you may pick up the phone and say, "Hey, let's have a chat further."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess it's across the board, right? It's just I mean, I've had tracks from my earlier years still get used, and I listen to the mixes. I'm like, was I doing drugs back then? I can't remember because it's so bad. It's really
Right.
distorted or it's messed up, but there's a vibe there, and the
Yeah.
track still works. It's not sonically great, but that's probably not what they want. Sometimes they don't want
Mhm.
perfection. They want it to be kind of messed up and a little off, because that's part of it too. But it's got to
Yeah.
suit the vibe and the song and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. No. And Troy, that's a good, work with yourself and your team of composers, treating yourself like a band. My question for you is, you know, do you have say you have a composer you're working with and he does the first or second or third iteration, and then you have final, how does that work with the creative process where you're, hey, you know, do you give him feedback along the way, or you just let him run with it individually?
Yeah, it depends on the composer. Like newer composers that come through that maybe haven't been in the trailer world, for sure, I'll give them feedback. But I've got guys that I listen to their stuff and I'm like, how did you do that? It's they're amazing, they're incredible. And and the technology obviously has got really good too. So yeah, it just depends. There's a lot of go back and forth. I'll jump on jobs when I can,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like it's always I know this is going to take me this long, and I have all this other stuff to do, and I
Right.
have a composer who can do it in half the time, who's way better than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put my money on him, But if
Yeah.
it's a passion project, then I can jump on it. I want to be in it too. But just because I do it, it still doesn't matter. It's me. It's
Sure.
still got to be good. If I don't nail it, I don't nail it. I'm just some schmuck who tried and didn't get it. It's like no. But
Right.
but I have guys that are really capable and are professional, and they
Mm-hmm.
deliver. They deliver on the money, and they're amazing. And then I have other guys who have come from different backgrounds, and they haven't nailed the trailer thing down yet. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard. One of the biggest. I always ask the music supervisors and editors. I go out and interview them. What are you guys looking for? What can I do to get better? And they would just say, watch trailers, copy
Yes.
what's in the trailer,
Right.
and don't make it too different. Keep it similar, but just maybe something a little bit in there that's unique to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. You don't have to change the whole formula, because then they don't want that. They want the trailer formula with a little bit of a spin on it. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably the case in a lot of, departments, right? Would you say that for you as well? I mean, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, just give your taste on it.
Yeah, no, to your point, you know, when we get these briefs, like you said, if we're lucky, you know, we'll have a reference track, and then don't deviate too much because you'll completely miss the parameters of what they're looking for. And as a good example, Cocaine Bear. Did you see the trailer for that film?
Yeah, we did a lot of the trailer in Cocaine Bear. Yeah.
Oh no, so the remix of White Lines.
No, we didn't do the song. We did a lot of
Ah,
sound design for
oh,
that.
the
It's
sound is
actually,
okay.
yeah, a lot of sound
Okay.
design. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I in after this interview I'll look it up, but the the folks who did the remix, they also in the body of the film, Depeche Mode's "I Can't Just Get Enough." They remixed that, so yeah, and
Nice.
but no, like you said, that trend of taking 80s, 90s, whether it's new wave hip hop, and then the big thing that they did was they put the underscore and it made it dark and they trailerized it. But one
Mm.
question, just to bookend it, deadlines, correct? Sometimes what's the craziest, you know, like we need this in 24 hours.
Oh no, 24 hours is long, man. That's a long time. Um, it always, I think our new composers to this business, they get annoyed because it's always like, we need this like at the end of day, or we need this ASAP, and they'll give you this full on massive description,
Uh-huh.
and at the end of it, oh yeah, we need this by 2 p.m. this afternoon. You're like,
Wow.
what crack are you on? So yeah, that's a tough
Mhm.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have some composers who can pull that stuff off. I
Mm.
can't. I'm not that quick, unfortunately,
Mhm.
but we have
Mhm.
composers that are really, really quick. But
Mm.
yeah, it just depends. Every project's different. Sometimes we'll have, say, for Oppenheimer,
Uh-huh.
we knew that was coming. They gave us a heads up, and they're like, over the next 2 or 3 weeks, this is what you need to think about. Start creating
Mhm.
tracks and sound design for this. So I would go and make a whole folder of sound design and
Mhm.
tracks and deliver it to them over the next 2 or 3 weeks. And that's great scenario
Yeah.
because you've got to really, and also the project was a year out. So
Wow.
you have a whole year of potentially getting placements, which is fantastic.
Hmm.
But also on the other side is that you have all this time, you create all this music, and then if you get nothing, it's like, oh, all right, where else can we use this music? So it just depends
Yeah.
on every project seems to be different.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's never a dull moment, but yeah, the time thing, it's tough. That's why it's really great to have have some finished tracks
Yeah.
that would cover a lot of things. But that's tough, man. It's a tough biz.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we've both been in this space for a minute, and before we started the chat, the competition is there's no shortage of music. There's a bloody surplus. And an interesting fact, just to weave it, I was having a chat today and we'll find the data that was basically saying the number of songs and albums that are released in a daily basis or monthly basis to the DSPs market share for the majors, it's like 4%, something crazy, and everything else is independent artists. And what's fascinating about that, Troy, is in 2002 when Max and Joanna, when we started Blue Buddha, there was no SoundCloud, there was no Spotify.
Yeah.
And now, so we were the funnel working with the soups. Here's independent artists we're pushing. They take it to the showrunner. Whether it sticks, we come back, we have to revise it. But now we're seeing, showrunners themselves savvy. Hey, I want these songs I found on a playlist. Clear this, and then, yeah.
Oh wow. So they're almost taking part of your job and giving you the part where you don't really want to do.
Yeah. Correct.
Like,
I mean, that would be, that was, I was talking with a super from the studio side.
right.
I said, "Hey, what's going on? It's been quiet." He said, "Well, here's, the things of, here's one wrinkle in, on top of, we're in Los Angeles and, we got sync agents, we got labels, publishers, and then worldwide, the music is coming from every nook and cranny there is. So I can only imagine what, just like you said, correct, Troy? You could be competing with a trailer house or sound design team in Germany and you don't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. It happens. It happens a lot. I don't like looking at the competition because it's like scary, man. I feel like they got way more money and bigger budgets, and they're doing everything on a bigger scale. But I think in this day and age, a big factor for sure is having a personality,
Mhm.
being a good person,
Mhm.
delivering on time. Just bending over backwards to make their job easier. I
Mhm.
think that goes a long way too, and you got to have the work still. The quality has to be there, but I think all those factors, help, put you in there to have a shot, you know.
Yeah.
So, because
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough, man. When it gets quiet, I get very scared. It's like, why is it? Is my email working? What is going on?
No, no. Tell me about it. Or when or if you see the cue sheet and you see the competition, you're like, what's this company? Where yeah.
That's the crazy thing. When I see, I get cue sheets usually by mistake, like they've sent an email mass by mistake, and you see, it's like, wow, I really thought I was so arrogant that I thought this trailer was all me. This is all us, and then you see 10 other music companies, and they've all got something in it, and you're like, oh man, okay,
Yeah.
well now I just feel lucky. So
Timing, luck, fit. But like you said, there's no substitute for, the hard work and then your connects. And I remember, like you said, super serve your contacts and deliver the good work. They'll keep, like you said, you're solving problems. We're solving problems for our connects. And
yeah, I think no one wants to work. I mean, no one wants to work too hard if you can
right.
help it. So if you can help the music supervisor or the editor
Yeah.
with a simple fix, I mean that's huge, and go out of your way for it or go above and beyond. It still goes a long way in my book, anyway. So I think I've learned that, when we get requests, I'm on it straight
Yes.
away. I let them know I've got it. We're on it. We're doing what we can, and at least they know that I'm attentive and I respect
Right.
respect them enough to do that. So
Yeah.
you can only do so much. And if it's, at the end of the day, the right track has to be put in the right spot. And
Mhm.
a lot of the times it's completely out of our control. But as long as you put your best foot forward, can't do much more than that, right?
100%. That's all we can ask for. And no, Troy, time flies by. It's been amazing. And I know this is, you know, it's just scratches the surface. So I really appreciate, I know we're going to be any emails and like, bring Troy Bratt. We learned so much. And no, man, I appreciate you and I appreciate your time. And thanks for coming by and riffing about syncs and music. And on the side, NAMM show. Are you gonna make? Or is that on the ticket? You probably have enough gear.
I do have enough gear. I always love going to NAMM show, but it's in Carlsbad or something. Is that right?
No, it's gonna be in Anaheim.
Oh, maybe I was saying something else then. I don't know what I thought it was in Carlsbad. I'm like, what Carlsbad? But if it's in Anaheim, I still won't go. No, I think I'll give it a miss. It would be fun though. It would be. When is it? I don't even know when it is.
April 13th. I think it's next weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, probably won't be going. I got enough gear I don't play with now, so yeah, I don't need any more toys. But there was an endorsement thing they have for NAMM. I was going to go to that, but I may have missed it. I don't know.
Okay,
Man,
we'll talk. We'll talk at the end.
Man, I may be calling you, going, dude, I've got this song, with buddies and all. Can you hook me up? And you were like, dude, it's just got to be good. If it ain't good, and ain't going nowhere.
That is a bumper sticker T-shirt, and I'll anytime I'll put my money on a track coming from you, Troy. And no, man, and I know you're going to be working on some. We'll be talking about whether you're recording Troy MacCubbin tracks, and yeah,
I've been recording. Yeah, I'm waiting for 3 mixes from Nashville to be finished up for some Troy MacCubbin tracks, and and to extend this podcast even longer. But the biggest thing is, like, you finish tracks and you pour your heart out and your money and all this and then you have these tracks. Then what do? Because, like, how do you get out through the noise? How do you release an album? Big Troy MacCubbin, big whoop, who cares, right? So it's you got to figure out how to do it. Do I run naked down the street in a music video? Is that what I got to do? Maybe, I don't know. So I may be calling you for ideas, Charles. What do I got to do?
What do you got to do? Like you said, with TikTok and everything. But no, you hit it on the nose there. One thing that's nice about, at least, when you give me a vocal track, the lanes that I pitch to for film and TV are completely different. I get briefed sometimes, for trailer houses, or trailers, but that's not my lane. That's not my skill set. Unless I'm like, hey, Troy, what do you got? Do you have some stems laying around? And then correct. And just to correct, that is sometimes editors will take the stems that you have and then they'll put something together.
Oh, for sure. And we'll work on a project. This has happened many a times where we'll submit from a few different composers a bunch of tracks, and they'll take a few stems from this composer and a few stems from this composer and put them all together and make their own thing, and that's great for everyone because more people gets paid, and that's not a negative at all. That's a great thing. So stems have become, I never used to get asked for stems. Like, stems? What the hell's a stem? Now it's like, oh, can you guys send the stems over? So, yeah, stems are kind of a standard practice now for sure. You got to have stems.
Amazing. I see our future. We're going to be holding a master class taught by Troy MacCubbin about stems 101. But no, thank you.
Hey, man, when you need some David Gray tracks, I'll try and come through for you.
No doubt you'll deliver. Troy, a pleasure. It was really good catching up. And
man, my pleasure, man. Great seeing you again.
No, man. Thank you so much. And look forward. We'll be chatting some more about your indie tracks. Everybody, hit that like, subscribe, post your comments. Thank you so much to Troy MacCubbin of Alloy Tracks. And we'll catch you on the other side. Namaste. This was SyncRiffs. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night, guys. Peace.
Thanks, mate.
Go.